Welcome to Twisted Theater, where the horrors others experience might creep into your own reality. Tonight, I want to tell you a story a friend of mine endured, a story so relentless, so suffocating, that it will make you question every shadow, every sound, and every wall around you. The Watcher in the Walls. My friend Emily had always prided herself on living alone. Her apartment was small, cozy, and quiet, a place where she could escape from the chaos of the city outside. She had lived there for years, never hearing more than the occasional creak of the old buildings settling at night. That all changed one rainy evening. It started with a whisper, soft, almost imperceptible, coming from behind the walls. At first, she ignored it, telling herself it was just the pipes, the wind, or her imagination. But the whispers persisted, growing slightly louder each night. She began hearing distinct words. I see you. I'm here, watching. The first time she understood them, her heart nearly stopped. She checked the walls, the windows, even the ceiling, but there was nothing. She called me, voice trembling, begging me to reassure her that she wasn't losing her mind. I told her it was probably nothing. Old buildings make noises, but she knew it wasn't that. She could feel it. Soon, the small apartment that had once felt like a safe haven began to feel suffocating. Objects she left in one place were moved, sometimes slightly, sometimes completely out of reach. Drawers she had closed were left ajar, her photos tilted, her keys disappeared, her books moved from shelf to floor. She would find them hours later in places she had never touched, arranged neatly, almost as if someone had been standing over them, examining them carefully. At night, the whispers became more pronounced. Sometimes they were like a hiss right behind her ear. Other times, they seemed to come from every wall at once. You belong to me. I am here. Emily said she couldn't sleep, and when she did, she dreamed of long, shadowy corridors where a presence followed her every step. She would wake drenched in sweat, listening to the floorboards creak as if someone walked past her bed in the dark. Then came the scratching, faint at first, barely audible, like fingernails dragging along plaster. Emily told me that every night she would hear it in different parts of the apartment, behind the walls, under the floors, even the ceiling. She started keeping knives by her bed, checking the locks obsessively, and sleeping with lights on, yet she still felt eyes on her, tracing her movements as she moved from room to room. One night, she awoke to a shadow in the doorway of her bedroom, tall, thin, impossibly dark. Its face was featureless, but Emily could feel its gaze burning into her, assessing her, learning her. She could hear the whispers even clearer now, demanding, commanding, I am watching, I am here. She froze, paralyzed with fear. The figure didn't move closer. It didn't have to. Its mere presence drained the warmth from the room, filling it with a cold so intense that she shivered even under the blankets. And then, just as abruptly as it appeared, it vanished into the darkness. Emily tried to document everything: cameras, audio recorders, motion sensors. She thought that maybe capturing it would prove it existed and help her regain some sense of control. But the recordings were blank, silent, except for a faint shadow or unexplained distortion every now and then. No one else could see it, not her neighbors, not her friends, not even me. She began to realize that this presence didn't need a body, didn't need a form visible to anyone else. It only needed her awareness, her fear, her attention. And the more she noticed it, the stronger it became. It began leaving subtle marks, scratches in the walls, fingerprints on glass surfaces, faint, wet smudges she couldn't explain. And the whispers, they became voices, not just words, but sentences, phrases, sometimes even threats. It knew her name, knew her routines, knew the way she moved. You cannot hide. You cannot escape. Emily said that when she turned off all the lights, it was still there, watching, waiting. And the worst part, she told me, was that she began to see it in places she couldn't avoid. The reflection of the toaster, a glimmer on a metal spoon, the faint shine of a polished table. Everywhere there was light reflecting back at her, the shadow could appear. Emily begged me to warn anyone who would listen because this was not just a haunting, it was an intelligent, patient predator. She said it didn't need to attack physically. Its game was psychological, slowly eroding her mind, turning her home into a trap. And now I'm warning you, if you dare to continue watching this story, subscribe, like, and share this video, because Emily swears that if you don't, the watcher might slip into your own walls, your own home, pacing just behind the plaster, learning your every movement and waiting for the perfect moment to be seen. And tonight, as you sit there reading this story, maybe thinking your apartment is safe, just remember, it never sleeps, it never blinks, and it is always hungry for new eyes to watch. And so, the walls fell silent, but only for a moment. Emily's story isn't just a whisper from the past. It's a reminder that some spaces are never truly empty. The places we call home, the walls we trust to keep us safe, sometimes keep more than memories inside them. Maybe that faint creak you hear at night isn't the house settling. Maybe that soft brushing sound isn't the wind. Maybe, just maybe, something is listening from the other side. You might laugh it off now, tell yourself it's only a story, that what happened to Emily could never happen to you. But remember, she thought that too. She believed her walls were solid, her doors secure, her loneliness peaceful, until the whispers began. Until she realized that silence is never truly silent, and that something unseen had always been there, waiting for her to notice. So when you turn off your lights tonight and lay in bed, take a moment to listen. Listen closely. The walls around you may groan, breathe, or shift just slightly, like they're alive. Don't ignore it, because if you hear a faint voice calling your name, a soft scratching in the dark, or a breath that doesn't belong to you, it might already be too late. The watcher doesn't choose its victims randomly. It finds those who hear it, those who believe. And now that you've heard Emily's story, it knows your name too. This is Twisted Theater, where fear doesn't fade when the story ends. It lingers in the corners of your room, in the hum of the night, in the stillness behind your walls. Sleep lightly, my friend, because the next sound you hear might not be the house settling. It might be it, finally moving closer.